Now let's look at this for a second. Look at how many notes, how many different pitches have we got represented so far? How many different notes have we represented? 4. Okay, here's our running tally. Hopefully that this gets seen on the thing. We've got an E, we got an F sharp, we've got a G sharp, we've got an A. So here's... Now, if you got your major scales memorized, you already got it narrowed down to 2 possible tonal centers. Grant says E. There's one other possible one. Okay? Now, if you've got this written down or you've got this in your head, no, I just need a larger board. Lord, give us one of those huge boards that are electronic that I can just use my finger and we can hit save. Okay? Imagine, if you will, that there's a whole step here. Now it's right here. Between E and F sharp is a whole step. Between F sharp and G sharp is a whole step. Between G sharp and A is a half step. Wah! When we look at the major scale formula, whole, half, whole, half, this could either be the first 3 steps of the major scale formula or the last 3. If this is the first 3, then it's an E major scale.
Or it could be B.
If it's the last 3, then this would be whole, half, whole, half step up to A. It would be the A major scale. So this pool of notes so far could imply either E major or A major. But hey, when there's 12 options, we just narrowed it down to 2. We only needed 4 notes to do it. 4 notes, and all of a sudden we got it narrowed down to 2 possible tonal centers. What were you saying, Miss Sue?
A tetrachord.
Oh, she's saying one of those fancy words that I throw out.
Popped out. She
said the word tetrachord. For you music theory nerds, you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, I don't think you need to. So ignore that. So if it's either going to be E major scale or A major scale, I want to be so close to you. Does that sound like home? That's the A. Or does that sound like home? That's the E. It sounds like home. That's the E. So if we know this is E major scale, we could write that scale out and say this is our pool of notes until our ear tells us that the tonal center shifts. Which I'll give you a hint, it doesn't shift in this song. This is all diatonic, just like the Bible intended. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So as I wrote this out, note by note, I want to be so close to you. This U chord, this U note, excuse me, is the 2 of our tonal center. If that's the 1, if E's 1, F sharp is 2. I kind of liked the idea of ending the phrase on the 2 instead of the 1. Now, the harmony is, you can note this on that piece of paper. Well, I told you not to look at it. But there's an E chord happening at the beginning. I want to be, and then on the word close is an A chord, right? So there's an A tonality happening, and the final note's an F sharp. The A chord has A, C sharp, and E in it. So it would make sense. It would be really easy to just go, I want to be so close to you, and stay on the E for both notes. And I just like the color of this F sharp note being the one that ends up against that A chord. I think it's nice. Now, knowing that, listen to that again. Hear the chord change, and here on the note on the word U, contrasting, hopefully not clashing, but having a nice contrast with the A chord that's going on underneath it. Listen. I want to be so close to you, giving my life, worship to you. Your heart like he gonna follow you in all that I do. Apologies for the pitch. It's not so good. It drives me nuts. Okay? But one of the reasons I chose this song is because the melody's fairly easy. A lot of the notes are close together. You notice we don't really go much beyond 2nd and 3rd jumps in between notes. So I want to point this out because this is not the worst thing in the world, but it's also a bit of an immature melody writing technique. Not that it's bad. A lot of wonderful music has very short little jumps in and out, okay? But maturity starts looking at other things. Piano players are more prone to doing things in terms of scales because we can see the notes right next to each other, up and down. So we'll typically tend to solo or write. You may have noticed when I was soloing without thinking about it, in the 11 and 12 review, I was doing things mostly very scalar-ish. I was doing notes that were right next to each other, right the next one down, and every once in a while I did a third skip until that one weird chord that Grant wanted me to kind of explain a little bit, and that's when I did more of a arpeggiato with larger skips, okay? You'll also find that when you have, this is all just for free just because I'm babbling and I get the mic to stay up here. When you see people that are writing music for strings, keyboard players will do it, and they write the strings a lot of times in scalar kind of motion, seconds and thirds. But when the string players write out their own parts, they do many more jumps because the strings are a fourth or a fifth apart depending on which instrument, and they're naturally used to going and thinking in terms of larger jumps. Okay, and in general, when you go Maria, I just met a girl named Maria, that big old jump, Maria, that's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's partly because this huge jump. It's also partly because the average variety, garden variety melody that we hear has very short little jumps. In your writing, in your coming up with melodies and improvising, watch for the rut of thinking in terms of the note right next to the note you have. And think about making more jumps and wider skips to make your melodies more deeper expression and have some more uniqueness and creativity to it, okay? So, but in terms of transcribing the melody, I wanted to pick a melody that was a little bit easier for everybody to grasp. I wanted to find the chorus. Right now I just stopped it at the second verse. I'm going to hit play from the second verse, so now you're going to hear the verse melody again. But where I'm headed towards next is the chorus here. Well, I thought it was. It jumped back to the beginning because that's where I had the marker. Let me just hunt around and find it. There's the end of the second verse. Chorus 2 right here. Okay, I want to point out on the chorus. Push it up just a little bit further. I think it's going to be here. So, I will sing before your throne. Isn't it the worst handwriting you've seen all day? I want to look at this melody. Let's play it a couple times. I want you to sing it with me a few times. All that I will sing before your throne. One more time. All that I will sing before your throne. Now here's our tonal center. So the words I will sing. Anybody got a wild guess as to which scale degree is the word I will sing? Which scale degree? I will sing. He says the octave is totally true, but it's also the root. It's the chord. So we know that it's in the E major tonality we established earlier. So all of a sudden, I will sing. So the word I is going to be what letter? E. E is the right answer. So I, and then will goes down a little bit. I will. That's a half step or a whole step? Half step. So what letter's next?
D.
D sharp. I will. Which is good, because D natural is not in our E major scale that we've all got memorized, right? Right? I will sing, heads us back to E. B, now the sing B, sing B, sing B, sing B. What's our letter name?
C sharp.
He gets a C sharp. Sing B. What would the interval of a C sharp be? E to C sharp is what interval? She says minor third. So
Minor third.
E to C sharp is minor third. Does that sound sad? Does it sound more consonant or more dissonant? I will sing B, sing B, sing B. So let me go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 half steps. What's 5 half steps? What'd you say?
Major third.
Nope, good guess. C sharp would have been a minor third. You're guessing major third, but it's still wrong. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many 5? 5 half steps is what?
Perfect. No.
I never think this way. I got certain
He's got the right answer. Sing B. It's a perfect fourth. What's a perfect fourth below E? Sing B. What's funny is the syllable and the note name are the same. They're both B. Just like the Jerry Seinfeld movie.
Oh dear.
I will sing B for. Where did we go? We went down. I will sing B for B, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. Sing B for whole step down below B is what? For. Is it A? And it's going down.
G sharp.
G sharp. Grant guessed G sharp and F sharp. He's right. Okay, F sharp. Okay, and then the chords that are happening, which if you'll take the time at some other time to, you can check the chords, is an E. Excuse me. I will sing B for your throne. Those are chords. Purple is chords.